Hey all you cool cats and kittens. Today I'm going to show you how to make some paper clay. This is my cat Mabel. She's not a fan. Okay, so for this awesome paper clay recipe, all you're going to need are a bunch of egg cartons, glue, and some hot water. So what I have started here, I have just torn up some egg cartons, just kind of torn it up randomly. Doesn't need to be anything fancy. What I have here is 2 full egg cartons, like this size. Obviously I have a problem, I have a collection. So you're just gonna tear this up into, reasonable pieces. Don't leave them too big because you're gonna have to blend this later. So 2 full egg cartons is gonna fill my bowl here. Now, with this paper clay recipe, it's not going to be anything like the clay that we have at school. You're not going to get very fine details. This is going to be more for chunking things out, things like masks or just, basic sculptures. You're not gonna get anything huge. Sorry, my cat and dog are fighting. You're not gonna get anything super detailed, so just kind of keep that in mind as you're creating this. So I have 2 egg cartons, and then you're just gonna need some hot water. So this, I just ran it through the coffee pot. However, if you wanna boil water, whatever works for you, you're just gonna dump it in there. Now, oh, ouch, that's hot. If you're looking for exact measurements, I don't have exact measurements for you. This is going to be something that you're gonna kind of eyeball. So you're just gonna add water till you fill it up. It's gonna, soak up all of that hot water. What we were basically doing is creating a paper, it's called a pulp. So I might need some more water. Okay, so now, be very careful. This is hot, so if you need some help from your parents or siblings, go ahead and do that. Also, make sure before you steal egg cartons, make sure that you don't need them. So ask your parents. Now we're just going to let this sit for about 15 minutes or so and let it soak up all of that hot water. Okay, so I've let this sit probably a little bit longer than I needed to, maybe about 20 minutes or so, and it's really soaked up all the water. Make sure before you do this step that the water is not hot anymore. I don't want you to burn yourself. So now what you're gonna do is this is going to be a lot easier to rip up. So we need to get it from this size down to almost like a smooth consistency. So you can sit here and you can kind of like pull it apart with your hands. If you don't have the patience for that, like I don't, I grabbed one of these. I'm not even sure what this is called. Just like a little blender thingy, you push the button. Please make sure before you use any kitchen supplies, ask your parents. You could use a blender or one of these. Just be careful you're protecting your surfaces because this could get a little bit messy. So we're gonna go for it. Okay, as you can see, I made a little bit of a mess. I think I got it in my eye, so please be careful. Okay, but basically what you're gonna want is a pulp like this. I don't know if you can you zoom in on that? Okay, just a very fine consistency, no more chunks. And then, okay, you can back up. Okay, once I'm done blending this, I'm going to use a colander and strain out all the liquid. Okay, so I have used my colander here and gotten most of the water out. Now, you want to get out as much water as you can because we don't want to dilute the glue any. So once you get the majority of it, you might have to get your hands a little dirty and just kind of squeeze as much of the water out as you can. And it'll kind of stick together. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so now we have this like pulpy, it's kind of dry, you can still see the fibers in it. this is going to be the base of our clay. Now we need a bonding agent. So as far as the glue that you use, I'm just gonna use good old Elmer's. If you have wood glue at home, if you have clear glue, really doesn't matter. You just need something in the paper that is going to bond it together and then dry. So I'm just gonna add a bunch. You're gonna kind of, again, I don't have exact measurements for you, but we're gonna kind of eyeball it. You don't want to add too much though, so maybe start out with a little bit and then kind of see where it takes you from there. Okay, so I kind of guessed right. I didn't do too bad. This has reconstituted it enough so that it kind of sticks together, and the glue is going to absorb in those fibers and not only be a bonding agent, but as it dries, as the paper dries, as the glue dries, it will help stick it together. So now you can start creating. This size was only 2 egg cartons, so you're gonna have quite a bit, which is really nice. Now you can do sculpture with this. This is also, it's called a pulp, which is what paper makers use. So you can use recycled newsprint, you can use recycled printer paper, egg cartons, toilet paper rolls, you know, whatever you have around the house that's a paper product, you can blend up and add a binding agent. Now paper makers will take this and push it flat in between screens and create their own paper with this. You can do that too if you don't have something at home to paint on, or you can use it as an alternative surface. But for today, I'm going to use this as a sculpting agent. So I was thinking, I really like, as you can see my plants, I really like to put little decorations in there. So I was thinking about making like a little mushroom. So how you would do that is you start out with a pinch pot. So you have a ball of your paper clay and you just insert your thumb in the middle and then you pinch. Now remember, this clay is not going to give you great detail and you might have some cracking in there. That's okay, you just have to work with it. If you need to add more glue, that's okay. If you think that it's not bonded well enough together, no problem, just add some more glue. I might try making a mask with this later. Might let some of the water evaporate out of it first so that it's a little bit more bonded. So now I have my little top to my mushroom, set that aside, a little chunk. Now I just need the stem. Now I kind of want it to stand up on its own. The nice thing about this is you can create different parts and then glue them together later. So my little stem there, maybe he wants to be a little crooked. And then later I can, once it's a little bit more stable, it's dried, because, and then you just, there's my little mushroom. If I let it go now, it's just gonna flop over and be gross. So that is one thing that you can do. Kind of smooth it out, let it dry, let these two pieces dry separately. Then once they're dry, just take a little bit more glue, your bonding agent, and glue them together just like that. So I can't wait to see what you create with your paper clay. And as always, if you have any questions, just shoot me an email. Happy creating.